5 from Shlanga 23 July 2024 at a beautiful Tuesday morning. And if you are celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. May the Lord bless you as you are celebrating usuku lakho lokuzalwa this morning. Uyazika around this time so to recharge your spirit every morning. Ngalesi sikhathi you start your day on a positive note. Asivele singene khona namhlanje kuseni.
Recharge your spirit on the Mega Grace Hour.
Yes, indeed. Recharge your spirit on the Mega Grace Hour on Vuma FM, Adult Radio for the Young and Heart. Namhlanje, we do have Obama Adora Domingo. Good morning, my good sir.
Good morning, sir. So good to see you. And
we are Pilam Flonation.
You appeal like a cool.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Tell us Ubani Adora Domingo and where you from, and then we'll just go straight to our story namhlanje. And we are going to talk about man, since we are still Women's Month celebrating Amadot.
Adora Domingo is a founder of the Show at Ministries International, a pastor of the Show at Liberty House in Pinetown, an author, as well, an ex-politician for that matter, and a politician, and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I'm an author of many books anyway, about 17 books.
Yes.
That's right.
Now, let's get down to it straight, Mr. Adora. We are talking about man. It's Men's Month. We are celebrating man, and it's also a savings month. Yeah. Let's talk to men and saving and men. How should they handle their houses? How should they make their houses in order, my good sir?
Yeah. Well, number one, as it's a Men's Month, that means there's a lot that needs to be taught about men and the conduct of a man. There's a great expectation as a man is called the head of the house.
Yeah.
That is regardless of your age, whether you're married or not. What I said to people is that the father is actually the head of the house, and every man in that household is a pillar of that house. Because you have to take after your father, looking after every other thing that your father used to be responsible for. That's why in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 says, train up the child in the way that he should be, so that when he's old, you'll not depart from that. So training is either verbal or through conduct, through the way that you behave. So as a father, a head of the house, there's a way that you have to conduct yourself before your children, whether they be male children or female children. There is a way that you should conduct, which should be exemplary, so that you pass it on unto the next generation that will take after you. You see, when God created man, he gave him the authority to manage whatsoever that God had created. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. And now, so God trusts man to be responsible for everything else that God owns. So man has been put in charge of everything else. So you're in charge of the household as a man. So that means you must learn to be responsible. Not to be a useless one, but a responsible a man. In other words, you take care of your family, you provide for your family, you protect your family as well. And now, as a young man, you learn from your father the way that he conducts himself, the way that he speaks and everything else. Now remember, in the olden days when we were living in rural areas, that bating isiZulu inkunzi ipopota ematoleni.
Inkunzi ematoleni, yeah.
That's right. So that means that you were trained as a young man to be a man. You see, but you don't have such trainings now. People just learn on their own without anyone ever focusing on them, because that was a focus training where they were training you to be a man. You know how to manage your father's animals. You know, it could be cattle, it could be anything that they had. You know, and you're just a man from the very early age until you grew into it, you know. And so that's very important that you have to learn as men. One of the things that we're learning in rural areas is that there'll be a harvest time. And during harvest time, that whatsoever that had been planted, it will be taken home and it will be kept for the future. In other words, in summertime, they'll collect, in summertime, they'll plant. And then during that time, between that time and winter, when the harvest is ready, they collect everything. They'll put it aside, you know. And so as a young man, you'll be going there following your father or your elder brothers to go and do whatsoever that was done in the house, you know, as a man, because you're a responsible man. Now, we learned how to save as Africans. We're not taught by anyone else. It was our culture to save, to get whatsoever that we get, put something aside, and not just to eat everything and leave nothing for the future. That's what we were as an African. Like, for instance, you were taught as a young man to take care of your cattle, of your father's cattle,
Yeah.
of your father's houses, houses, and everything else. You know, they will tell you this is how you keep them, because you are keeping them for the future. And the father, when he dies, he leaves everything else for the future generation. You see, so it won't be that when the father dies, everything else disappears. You know, that's why the Bible says, a man who works hard, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20, a man who works hard, saves some of all income, and restrains his spending, will have an estate. You see, it was a disgrace.
Yeah.
When you are a man and you have nothing. It was a disgrace. So as a man, you work hard and kept something for the future. You see, here, because we're talking of money, the Bible says you work hard, you get whatsoever that you get, and you put aside, you can some of the thing which you have collected. Why are you doing that? Because you're anticipating future needs. Proverbs chapter 23. You anticipate future needs, and so you prepare today. When we talk about saving, we are talking about putting aside tomorrow's money. Today's money for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you don't spend it. Remember, the Bible speaks of restraining your spending. So you don't spend as you would. It doesn't mean that you don't have to spend at all, but it means that you spend less and save much. That's what it meant. Whereas when you look at debt is spending tomorrow's money today. So then by tomorrow, you don't have money with which to meet your tomorrow's needs. But when you save today, you are saving for tomorrow's needs, which you don't even know. So you anticipate that there could be some future needs tomorrow. Now, when you go to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6, it says, go to an ant and learn. It doesn't send you to your economics professor. It doesn't send you to anyone.
Yeah.
It sends you to a very smallest, tiniest an ant. It says, go there and learn from its ways. You see, ways, the way it conducts itself. Like, for instance, when you're a small boy, you learn from your father how he conducts his business, how he speaks, all those things. So as a father, you must, or as a man, you must be an influential person for the next generation. You must be able to impart unto them wisdom, which they can carry for the rest of their lives. You see what I'm saying? So the Bible teaches us that you must work and save. Otherwise, if you don't save, you are going to get to debt into debt. And if you are in debt, you cannot save, because you must service your debt. So those are the dangers of many of us failing to save, because there is no one who has taught us to save money. When we get money, we just spend anyhow. You know, like for instance, when you read the Bible in the book of Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, it says, my people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. That word destroyed actually means my people fail because they lack knowledge. So the key to wisdom is knowledge. Then you become wise, and then you'll be able to restrain yourself. You restrain yourself because you are preparing for the future for your children, and then you are saving money. And I was saying to some people in one of our conferences is that when you save money, this you must do for a long time. You don't have to be earning so much to save. You can be earning very little, but you can save from the very little that you are earning, or you're collecting wherever you're collecting it from, saving it for the future, you see. And you have to choose where you are going to save your money, because it's important. And also, you save in a place where you are not going to have easy access to that money, because there's something that is called this savings. So this savings means that you are saving money, but you are taking from the very same money that you have saved, because you have easy access to it. So you must put your money aside in a place where you won't have easy access when you want it anytime. You see? So when you do that, that means that you'll have a brighter future. Remember, the Bible says here, you will have an estate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Domingo. That was very insightful, very profound. Thank you so much. If you want to connect with you, how do we connect with you? How do we contact you, Mr. Domingo?
Very easy. You can call me on 082 5868143, 082 5868143, or you can just Google me, Adora, Adora Domingo, Adora Adora Domingo, and then you'll find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm in every other social media platform. I'm found there. And we are going to be having a seminar very soon.
We're definitely coming to that seminar.
Right. Amen.
We have to come. Thank you so much for your time. This is Mega Grace on Vuma FM, Adult Radio for the young at heart. You are going